please wait for a moment for President, Vice President 1 and Vice President 2. Hi, Azrina.
Hello. Let's wait for Jess and Suen.
Yeah. So in the
How are
meantime,
you?
I'm good, a little bit nervous, but I think manageable. So in the meantime, I think I'll let you introduce yourself and a little bit about your office. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Thanks for attending. Okay, so I'm Azrina, the Vice President of MyPSA this mandate. I'm the contact person of the International Pharmaceutical Students Federation. So I'm like the bridge between MyPSA and IPSA. And aside, so I have to relay important information about what MyPSA does to IPSF and also IPSF APRO, the Asia Pacific Regional Office. And any information that comes from them also, I must relay to my PSA member.
Okay, hi.
Then other from that, I also supervise 4 ExCos under my PSA, the Public Health Officer, Education Officer, Eugene here, the Student Exchange Officer, and also Networking Officer. So yeah, that's the basics. We can say hi Jess, hi Sven.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, so I think now we'll start with Jess. I guess we'll continue with introduction about yourself and your job scope. Yeah.
Okay, so introducing about myself, I think most of you know me. My name is Tenging, most commonly known as Jessica or Jess. So I'm currently the MyPSA president for 2020 and 2021. For the job scope wise, I would say the main job scope is to improve MyPSA on its own on the different portfolios of MyPSA. That's the main job scope. But apart from that, what you need to do is also as the main liaison of MyPSA. So you'll be collaborating, you'll be discussing things with all different stakeholders and our external parties, including MPS. Yeah, I think that's the two main things of my office president. So who's next?
Last but not least is Suen,
Hi
our Vice President
everyone.
1.
Thank you for joining us today. So I'll introduce myself. My name is Suen. I'm a Year 3 Taylor's University student. So the job scope of a Vice President 1, as you guys can see in our poster, it's to supervise 5 ExCos, the Project Officer, Professional Development Officer, Entrepreneurship Officer, Multimedia Officer, and then Publication Officer, as well as to supervise 5 of our national events that we have. Okay, I'm just going to list it really quickly. NPSC, No Gaps, NPDC, NPRC, as well as NPC. And finally, to supervise metamorphosis and conduct any internal relation-related matters. So yeah, that's it.
Well, that's a lot of things to supervise. So if you like to supervise stuff, you can definitely join VP1 office. All right, so I think the viewers are actually excited to listen to the questions, to their answers to their questions. So the first question will be, I think, can be applied to all 3 of you. So you'll take turns answering that. So the first question is, how do you manage workload from both academics and MyPSA? I've been also wondering how to manage for the past 1 year. So I guess we'll start with Jessica.
Definitely an expected answer because I believe we get it on every year. So yeah, I feel like when we go into it, I have no full confidence that we are going to strive it, but we definitely have to try it out and manage it through the process. So after this nearly 1 year, I feel like how I manage my workload at the same time balancing both MyPSA and academics is to definitely list down my priorities. Not to say that MyPSA is, I'm telling you that MyPSA got to be more important than academics, definitely no. But when you talk about listing your priorities, is I just want you to know that you got to look at the urgency of the thing and also the weightage of something. So you apply give and take and strive a balance between these both. Yeah, maybe I can give to VP1 to the next tip.
Suen, your turn. Oh, is she stuck? Okay, she's stuck.
Yeah.
Oh, is she back?
She's
Oh, okay.
staring at it.
Yeah,
She's thinking of the tips. It's okay. Asrina, you want to go to the second one?
Can. So I agree with Jess. You have to know what to prioritize, and of course, you must prioritize your academics at all times. But you must also remember you took up this responsibility in MyPSA, so it's your responsibility to make sure you do what you have to do. And also, I would suggest joining before final year because in final year it's a challenge to juggle with thesis writing as well. But it's possible. It's definitely possible. I have done it. A lot of other people have done it in final year. So don't be afraid. You can do it.
Okay. Oh, I got Suen is having trouble. I have to add her back. Please give me a moment.
I think you can enter back, and meanwhile, maybe I can share a little bit more tips on how you can balance up your academics and MyPSA. So I feel like sometimes when we take up the position of VP and president, we feel like that's a huge responsibility. Hey, welcome back. Yeah, we just want to take charge of everything. We want everything to do well. But sometimes through the process, I've learned that when you're joining an association, what you really need to do is to build your committee. Because at the first few months, it might be more tough, but once you build your committees, they are able to be more independent to carry out their roles. It's actually more easier for your task as well as for their personal growth as well. So I feel like this is one thing that everyone got to take note of if you're running for VP or president. Suen?
Oh yeah, Suen is having a hard time. Yeah, she's buffering. Okay.
But yeah,
perhaps.
Anyway, it's nice. No, I just want to add that it's nice to have something else other than academics to focus on, because you get to meet new people, learn new skills, add to your resume. I've learned so much from MyPSA, and I've met so many wonderful people there, and in IPSF as well. It's really fun. Yeah, we've got a supportive family too.
Yeah, definitely priorities is important so that, we don't miss any deadlines. I have to say personally, as an officer, there are a lot of deadlines to catch up. So we really need to focus on what's in front right now first, rather than focusing too far ahead that you miss out the things right now. Suen, are you ready?
Can you guys hear me?
Or are you having? Yeah.
Oh, I had to run to a corner. Anyway, what was the question? I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. The question is, how do you manage your workload from both academics and MyPSA?
Okay, so I don't know if I'm repeating because I didn't hear the other two's answer, but I guess it's about priorities. I heard the one that Jessica said, as well as discipline. You gotta know what to do at what time, and as long as you keep really do, even though it's not.
Okay, she's buffering again. Okay, that's unfortunate. I think we'll have to. Perhaps Suen can turn off her camera after this. I think that's what might be causing her issue. So should we wait or should we move on? Then we'll get back to her.
Maybe we can move on and later she can recap her answers for the first questions. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, because we are running a little bit out of time. So okay, the next question is for the president. So what qualities or traits do you think makes a good president for MyPSA?
Wow. Okay. What qualities or traits? I would say, as a president, you got to have a vision for MyPSA itself. You cannot be running for it without an aim. You cannot go for something aimlessly. You really got to know which direction you want to work towards, because there can be a lot of changes that you can bring, but what's the main thing that you want to bring for your tenure? It cannot be too much, it cannot be too less. Apart from that, other things would be, you got to be more tactful, because you are the last line of defense when it comes to documentation. You got to be the last person to check. So be more careful when you're checking at staff. And yeah, be a team member. You got to be pretty motivating and understanding. And last thing would be decisive enough, in a way that not not for you to make decision for everything, but you got to be decisive enough where you can still accept opinions, then weigh out the benefits and risks, and not only just taking any advice or suggestion easily, but at the same time don't drag too long to make the decision. Yeah. Good luck, guys.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Jessica. Next question will be for VP1. I think we have to skip the hot question first because, you know, it might delay. So the next question is for Su-An. Oh, okay, it's a very tough question for me. I do not know how to answer. Okay, so what did you do that made you stand out from other applicants for this position?
You guys can hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so personally, I'm not sure as well because the main boards will be the one voting for you. But I think what made me stand out was solely on my experience because the other participants, nominees were really good as well. But I think my experience pushed me a step further. But that doesn't mean that you need compulsory experience in MyPSA in order to get nominated, because at the end of the day it comes down to your manifesto and what new ideas you can bring to MyPSA that will benefit the members. So I think that's pretty general answer that I would give. Yeah.
All right. Okay, I can see a lot of people in the message there saying yes. Atika said spill the tea, but okay, we'll
That's my
spill that
tea.
maybe later. Okay, so the next question is for Azrina. What are the responsibilities of being an official delegate of MyPSA? And what should I prepare myself to be a qualified contact person of MyPSA? So I think you answer the first one, the responsibility of being an official delegate first.
Okay, sure. So I just want to clarify that there are 3 official delegates being sent out. So in this case, there's the contact person, me, the president, Jessica, and the student exchange officer. So our role is to just be present during the General Assembly, which happens during the World Congress, and we just have to vote. It's like our AGM, where the main boards will vote for any decisions, so we just have to be present, and we will take turns among each other, so you don't have to be present all the time. Sometimes the time is at 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., but we will just rotate, you know, we gotta work together. And there's also a roll call during the General Assembly, so basically just be present there, listen, vote for MyPSA. Very simple.
Oh, so it's sort of MyPSA ExCo becoming the MB in IPSF. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
okay.
to clarify again, the General Assembly is the decision-making body of IPSF. So we are in charge of the decisions being made. Our votes matter.
Okay. Okay, so the next one will be, what should I prepare myself to be a qualified contact person of MyPSA?
What to prepare? Nothing much. If you're passionate about it, if you genuinely want to meet new people and make new friends, just join. There's no specific criteria. Yeah. And I'm very happy if you have passion. If you don't have much experience also, it's okay. I'm happy to teach you whatever I know to guide you. So don't worry about it.
Okay. So anyone interested can always find Azrina. She's available, I guess. So we'll go back to President. How did you discover that you really have a burning passion for MyPSA?
Burning passions. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I was the education officer before I became the president. So I really enjoyed the year when I was the education officer, and I saw a lot of changes that can bring into MyPSA. And I feel like when there's a change, there got to be someone to lead and make the change. And that's why I feel there's a passion for me. And I know that if I don't run for it, despite I getting it or I don't get my president position, it might be a regrets for me in my university life. So why not just give it a try, right?
YOLO. Yeah. So you have to just do it, you know. Sometimes don't doubt yourself too much. well, like me also, when I applied for EDO, it's sort of a last minute, decision. Just go for it. And if you get, then you get lah. If you don't get, okay. Next will be for Sue Ann. Your second question is, as a VP1, how would you describe maintaining the internal relationship of MyPSA? That's the first part of the question. And the second part is, what initiatives have been done so far?
Okay, thank you for the question. So, first question is, what do you mean by internal relationship? So in MyPSA, we first have our executive committees, which is the 16 ExCos that we have here. Then we also have main boards, which consists of the presidents, vice presidents, as well as the contact persons of each local society. We have 19 local societies under MyPSA, as well as we have subcommittees for each office. So basically it's a non-exhaustive list whereby you kind of need to make sure that everything internal is going smoothly, nothing's going wrong, and you need to come in and step in whenever you need to. And what I can say about the current initiatives being done is, for example, we do ExCo workshops, ExCo team meetings after each general meeting, and then we also have like more fun activities like ExCo Day or like Know Your ExCo posts that I always post on the MyPSA page. So yeah, those are the general internal relation related activities that I can think of right now. I hope that gives you a bit more clarity.
All right, thank you, Sue Ann. I think that's very interesting. Maybe future potential VP1 can try to improve on it,
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, so, okay, next is for Azrina. As an official delegate, would you have to cover the registration or various fees by yourselves? Yeah.
Yes. It's important to note that it's best if you can cover the fees yourself, but you can also apply for the grant application that is offered by IPSF. And also now it's online, right? For the APPS, it was very cheap, and World Congress was free. So that was a plus for me this mandate. But yeah, don't worry too much about that actually.
Actually, certain uni do give out their grant as well. I mean, like certain unis, public uni or private unis, yeah, you can maybe ask for your student council member, and the student council would be able to pay for you. So just try and see.
Yeah. Okay, I think we have 4 minutes left. So, any final words of wisdom for the nominees or those that might be interested in taking a position? So, we'll start with Jessica again. Words of wisdom.
Okay, I would say again, leave no regrets, because I never regretted running for this position, because I know that if I don't run, that's my regret. And live your university student life to the max and start to plan for your future, and things that sometimes you might realize that this is a really good plus point for you to run for your future career development. And you can I can tell that it's not an easy task, but I can bet on you that you can definitely explore yourself, broaden your networkings, and it's gonna be really benefiting you. Yeah. And good luck for whoever running. That's all from me.
Thank you, Jessica. Up next, Sue Ann.
Okay, Jessica covered like almost everything already, but I'll just touch up on it. So basically, if you feel a desire to make a change in your world, or like in your pharmacy profession, I think MyPSA is basically the best step you can take, a stepping stone. And don't be afraid, because you honestly don't lose anything if you apply. If you don't get the position you want, it's okay, because you still get experience and also get to learn more about the things that are happening around you. And yeah, you actually gain a lot of skills which you cannot get in any other place. For me, I personally believe that MyPSA has taught me so many things that I've never learned before. So yeah, that's all I want to say, and really good luck to my future successor. I'll treat you well, don't worry. So good luck, guys.
All right, thank you, Sue Ann. Last but not least, Azrina.
Oh gosh, you guys have covered so much already. I wanted to say, but yeah, just be bold to try new things. I've joined MyPSA since year 1, and it has helped me develop so much. I used to be a very shy person, and through MyPSA, I've met a lot of new people in pharmacy. We've exchanged different perspectives and ideas, things that you never get to learn in the classroom. So I understand your concern could be academics, and yes, it's very important, but it's also possible to juggle between academics and extracurricular activities, which will help you a lot, especially when you work as a pharmacist. So as the VP2, I've also met a lot of international friends, and they're all amazing, lifelong friends. So I hope you guys get to experience the same things as we have. It's just memorable, that's all I can say. So yeah, all the best, and I hope I can find a good successor. And don't be afraid, we will treat you very well. We're all very nice people, okay? We're not that intense. So yeah, all the best.
All right. Okay, so we have come to the end of our first live session with ExCos. So up next will be our second session with SecGen, SecII, and Treasurer. The moderator will be our Advocacy Officer, ST. So please take a break for a while and then come back at 9:40 to watch our SecGen, SecII, and Treasurer if you're interested to run for that position. And if you have any other questions for our President, Vice President 1, and Vice President 2, you can always email them at mypsa.president@gmail.com, mypsa.vp@gmail.com, and mypsa.pro@gmail.com. All right, thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye.
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 I'm so sorry. I'm not sure what's happening because, it just sort of disappeared on its own. Okay, we're missing Zixing here. She's not in yet. And also Nisa is buffering. Okay, you're not. Okay, I can see you now. Okay, I think there's something wrong with the administration because I think multiple devices are using this account right now. So I'm not sure what's happening. So okay, we'll continue with Zixing. We'll pick up where we left off. I'm so sorry for cutting you off just now.
It's okay, it's okay.
All right. So I guess okay, should we start again? Okay, so Zixing will explain her job scope once again. So we are very sorry for the viewers. All right.
Yeah. So before I move on to my job scope, sorry to all the viewers for the technical issue. And for my job scope, I'm the Secretary General for MyPSA this tenure. And to make it simple, so I'm in charge of all the documentation and paperwork of MyPSA, and also to maintain the administrative stability of MyPSA, as well as preparation of all general meetings, includes the upcoming annual general meeting. Yeah. Just
All right,
a really
thank you,
simple
Zixing.
job scope. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
all right.
turn,
Thank you. So yeah, Nisa, it's your turn.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Nisa, the Secretary 2 for this tenure. Basically, my job is mostly related with the membership issues, basically. So anything I will need to interact with the contact person and the main boards regarding the membership issue. So for those who got issues, just email me or contact me. That's my job.
All right. So next, Daniel.
Okay, thank you. So basically, as a treasurer, I have to prepare the MyPSA's annual budget and also monitor all the expenses under MyPSA. Basically, I control the cash flow of MyPSA lah. And I also have to manage the MyPSA bank account and also keep proper records lah. And lastly, I would also have to handle the sponsorship applications and reimbursements for all the internet events or also any national events, for example. Yeah.
All right. So a very brief job scope of each ExCos. So right now we'll move on to the questions from our possible nominees or those who may apply for your position. All right. So the first question is for SecGen. what is the most challenging part for you throughout this tenure?
So for my tenure, I think that the most challenging task for me would be when the preparation for the third GM and SGM clash with my university finance and assignment. Yeah, because it's really take a lot of work to prepare a GM itself. You will need to, just a tips for my possible successor, you will need to communicate with the main boards, the ExCos on all kind of paperwork and also their attendance. And also, yeah, that times I somehow clash with the assignment month of my uni and also the final. So yeah, it's kind of exhausting for me, but I somehow successfully to overcome it. Like, yeah, so you will need a really strong organization skill to make this happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and not forgetting you have subcoms. If you become an officer, pick your subcom wisely to as subcoms are very important in helping us in our job scopes as well. All right, the next question is for Sec 2. In your opinion, what are the most important skills or attitudes that are needed for your current role?
Okay, I think the first would be the verbal and written communication. As for my job, most of the time I need to interact with people. I need to interact with the main boards, the contact person. So at least you need to have a good verbal skill or written skill, because yeah, nowadays we are still in a pandemic, so we need to like type and everything. That one, your language, everything must be good lah. And then for Sec 2, we need to organize promotional tour. So you need to have good English. So that's very important. That one is the most important. If the second thing would be the organizational skills, because we need to know how to divide our job workload and time in order to achieve our action plan at the end of the tenure. So basically, that's the most important skills that if you want to apply my position.
All right, thank you, Nisa. So up next will be for Treasurer Dennard. As a MyPSA treasurer, do you need to generate ideas in increasing the income of MyPSA?
Okay, thank you. So, in my experience, I focused on reducing the expenditure of my PSA. I didn't really increase the income, but I reduced the expenditure. However, if you're going to be running for the treasurer position, I think it'll be a great idea to actually come up with a few ideas that can be done to increase the MyPSA's income. You can also, if you have gotten the role already, you can also further discuss on ways to increase the merchandise sales with the future entrepreneurship officer as well. So yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dennard. So we'll move on to the next question. So we'll go back to Zixin first. So another hot question that was asked in the session before this, is it hard for you to balance between academic and MyPSA work? So I think this question is applicable to all ExCos and all officers. So I think we'll go round table. So first, we'll start with Zixin.
Yeah, sure. I think for these questions, it applies to our ExCos because I think we all feel the same, but I would think that for the balancing between academic and MyPSA work, it really depends on yourself. So, I mean, you will need to really know how to prioritize things and also just try your best to do what you can. And also, I would say that prioritizing and also organization skill is really important for you to find a balance point in between all the MyPSA work and also your academic work.
All right, so next, Nisa.
For me, I don't have any problem in balancing my workload and my studies, because I think maybe in the beginning of the tenure it will be a very struggle for all of us because we are still learning, right, and adapt to the job scope and everything. So maybe at that period of time, you will feel like very busy and very tough, very struggle. But then along the time, I think you adapt to it, and then there will be no problem at all for me.
Yeah, I actually agree with Nisa. It's actually very challenging at the start, quite a lot of things to catch up on and stuff. But I think as for me, I didn't I mean, I didn't really face much trouble because I just did everything based on priority lah. If academic needs help, then I just focus on academics lah. If my PSA needs work, then I focus on my PSA. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah. So all of our ExCos kind of said prioritizing your work. So I think it's a very big take-home message. Prioritize your work properly. Don't overwhelm yourself and sort of do what's right, like I said just now, right in front of you first, then only move on to the next task so that you don't get overwhelmed at the same time because of all the collective work that kind of come in front of you right now. Okay, so next question is for Sec 2. As Secretary 2 might experience additional working hours for membership registration, when has been the busiest time for you? So sort of the busiest period of your office, I mean your position.
Okay, like I said just now, it's the beginning of the tenure because you know, when we start our tenure is around September, right? So at that time is the orientation day for new students, and as for my job scope, I need to handle all the membership registration, the promotional tour for the newbies. So that September, October, November, December would be the my busiest period of time because at that time there will be a lot of registrations, a lot of promotional tour need to be held. So yeah, that after that there will be not so busy lah. So just during that 4 months, and then you will get adapt to it, and then yeah, no problem at all. So at that 4 months would be you need to your working hours will be exceed lah. But there's no problem, and also that will and also at that moment would be the final exam. So yeah, that would be my busiest moment lah for me.
Yeah, and also it depends on universities' intakes because different universities have different intake time, and so your examination time may run. So you can also, I think it's better to plan ahead as well so that you don't overwhelm yourself with work. All right, so next question is for the treasurer. Is any prior experience working as a treasurer needed for this position?
Okay. So in my opinion, it's not really necessary because I did not really have any experience or any accounting experience beforehand, and however, having some accounting experience will probably be beneficial in your transition when like the starting, especially the starting, because you have quite a lot of stuff to do early on. As generally, because having this accounting background, so it will help you because you're required to keep track of all this income and expenditure of MyPSA and also forecast financial decisions. So yeah.
Okay, I think this question is sort of applicable to both SecGen and Sec 2. So perhaps we'll go back to Ziqing for this question. So any prior experience for your position is needed?
For my position, I think that prior experience will be advantageous for you when you apply it. But I would say that if you're interested to this position, don't be afraid and just apply for it. Cause for my story is that I applied for SecGen MyPSA, and I had zero experience being a Secretary General previously, and it's really a great experience that I had learned a lot of new skills through this journey. So in the conclusion is that prior experience would be a plus for you, but if you are interested but you have no experience on it, just don't be afraid and apply for it. Who knows, you might suit for these positions. Yeah.
Okay,
I agree.
So, Nisa?
For me, because previously I was the contact person, the public relation officer of my university. So I'm quite familiar with the membership things and then my PSAGM thingy. So it's not really hard for me to adapt after that. So maybe that one is my advantage lah, because you know, if you have the basic knowledge, the basic skills on how to manage, how to use Microsoft Excel, and then you can try to apply this position. Actually, my point is that if you're willing to learn, you can apply any position that you think you can do it, because the first point is that willing to learn, because not everyone willing to learn, you know, and something maybe along the way you might facing difficulties, but if you're willing to learn, you can adapt it at just like this. Okay, so that's my point. It's my point is that it's not really you need to be a treasurer in order for you to apply the job, or in order you need to be secretary, because previously I have no experience at all in becoming secretary, but at least you know you need to go through the job scope. Okay, for example, the job scope needs you the skills of using Microsoft Excel. Then you need to have that one, the skills, only you apply. And then after that, you need to willing to learn so that you can, you know, achieve your goal, achieve your action plan throughout the tenure. That's all from me.
Okay, so what I can conclude from all three ExCos today for the question prior experience is actually it's not 100% needed. So it's sort of a plus point for you if you have experience working in MyPSA, because you'll be more familiar with the working environment and the procedures working in MyPSA. But if you have other related experience outside of MyPSA, that would be a plus point as well, because certain things you don't have to learn from scratch. So if you have no experience, you can always learn and work hard so that you can catch up with what you are doing right now. Okay, so before we end our session today, any words of wisdom for the nominees or applicants that are interested in your position? So we'll start with Daniel first, then we'll move on to Zishin and Nisa.
Okay, sure. I would like to say what I'm going to say now is actually I really agree with what Nisa said just now. She said as long as you have the will to learn, you can just apply for anything, because after all, this is just a student organization, so you don't have to be afraid to just apply for it. It's a platform for you to learn, so you know, go for it. Yeah, that's all. Yep.
All right, next, Zishin.
Okay, sure. So my final words will be to all the MyPSA members that are watching right now. So not only apply for SecGen, Treasurer, and SecII only. If you are interested to be any position in MyPSA for the next tenure, I would say just go for it as long as you have the passion and the enthusiasm to learn something new. So yeah, and if you are unsure about any job scope of any officer, just feel free to approach us. The email of all officers can be found in the PDF of job scope. So we are very happy to assist you anytime for your queries. Yeah.
All right, Nisa.
From me, for those who want to apply this position, any of the position, don't be shy. Just go for it, because you don't know whether you can really excel in it or not. Just go for it. And of course, all this position can make your resume looks good. So just go for it, and then don't be shy. And then my last point would be, if you're willing to learn, then just go. That's all from me. I wish good luck for all of you that would like to apply any of the position. I know you guys can do it. So yeah, that's all from me.
All right, before we end this session, I would like to sort of remind the potential nominees that you can find our detailed job scope in a PDF form, like Zishin mentioned just now, in one of our FB posts, and also I think on our Instagram link tree, right? It's available there. You can always look it up, and it may clarify some of your doubts on the job scope, because it's written so it'll be more, it's sort of more, it's clearer for you. And also email. So if you would like to inquire more, you can always email all of our ExCos. So SecGen is mypsa.secgen@gmail.com, and then SecII is mypsa.sec, the letter 2 at gmail.com. Yeah, and then also Treasurer is mypsa.treasurer@gmail.com. So we exceed the time by 5 minutes, but I hope this live is helpful for those who ask the questions, and it clarifies all your doubts. So a very good night. Bye bye. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello, everyone. How to invite? Let me see how. Okay, wait for everyone to join first. Hello everyone. Only 5 people joining. Never mind. I'll just. Can you hear my voice? Am I audible? Hello everyone. Hello Yishan. Steve. Hello. Hello. Okay, we have our okay, it's only 8 people. Now I will go on with 5. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining our live for today. I can hear my. Is that from?
I hear a bit of feedback.
Oh, okay. I think that's okay. Never mind. We have a lot of people watching us right now. So basically, thank you everyone for joining us for today. 2 days ago, we had our live other ExCos like SecII, VPII, SecII, SecGen, SecII. Well, today we have 4 ExCos to clear up any of your doubts if you are interested in applying any position in MyPSA. So don't be shy to drop your question in the box so that I can read it for you. Okay, so today we have hub officer and student activity clear up. So hi Ingmin and okay, so in the meantime, as a start, I would like everyone, I'd like to Ingmin and Ning to introduce yourself and a little bit about your office. So we'll start with
talking about my job, I usually a public health officer needs to stay updated with the latest info and also conduct different public health campaigns to raise the awareness of most of my PSA members about specific public health topics. And then sometimes you need to offer collaboration for any humanitarian project with other available organizations. Yeah, so I see a comment not clear. Does that mean my voice is clear?
maybe Ningfu, you can pick up your voice a bit.
Okay.
Or stay away from any
try using the phones.
Yes?
I'll get my earphone. Give me a second. Thank you.
Hello, Mike. In the meantime, can we switch to English? Later we reach back to Ningfeng. But can you just briefly introduce what are you doing in your office?
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Ingmin and I am the Student Exchange Officer for MyPSA. And basically, I have the responsibility of managing the student exchange program in Malaysia. I would handle everything related to student exchange for MyPSA. And also, I'm one of the official delegates representing MyPSA at the IPSF level, which means I will also maintain contact between MyPSA and IPSF, along with both the president and also contact person. This means that I would mostly attend international assemblies as well, and also collaborate with other student exchange officers and handle mostly culture sessions with other countries. Yeah, so that's a bit about my office.
Okay, so that's very interesting. Like many of us, maybe if you would like to experience anything related with outside of the country, maybe if you can apply to this position. So we come back to Ningfeng. Are you okay there?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Is my voice clearer now?
Yes, absolutely. So can you repeat again, introduce again about yourself and a little bit about your office?
Yeah, sure. Sorry about the trouble earlier. So again, my name is Chen Ning Feng. I am the public health officer, and then yeah. So talking about public health officer, right? I will have to stay updated with the latest info, and then yeah, conduct the campaigns lah, the health campaigns to raise the awareness of my PSA members about a particular public health topics. And next, I will also have to like approach other organizations to offer collaborations or for any humanitarian projects. Yeah. So, but yeah, due to the influence of this pandemic, right, all of the campaigns are done virtually. So, yeah, and then what else? A public health officer will also need to initiate the PHC program, the public health campaign program, which will need to supervise all the participating local societies for how their events run and stuff. Also for the PHCC, Public Health Campaign Challenge, that will be held in this August. Yes, stay tuned for that.
Mark the date. It's in August. So basically, what PHO do, public health officer do, is basically raising awareness and doing campaigns, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so we move on to the next question. Maybe now we'll start with Amy, our student exchange officer. So how do you manage your office with COVID? Basically, yeah, as we know, student exchange officer, right? So many people would like to ask, what happened if it's COVID? We cannot travel. We cannot, go outside of the country. So since the student exchange program is cancelled also, back to the question, how do you manage this condition, this situation?
Well, honestly, it's been quite difficult because the student exchange office is purely a physical activity. So we've tried to bring it online by doing events like virtual student exchange program and also joint international outing, which means we collaborate with the SEOs of other countries and try to create some activities and events that might interest students and hopefully motivate them to join the student exchange program. But admittedly, it's been quite difficult because virtual set is really not the same as a physical set. You can't get the same experiences. So what we've been doing is my office has been focusing on sort of motivating and sort of gaining engagement from participants and just focusing on just giving them knowledge and encouraging them to apply for the physical set that could begin again hopefully this year during winter. But of course, the summer and winter set for my tenure has been completely cancelled. So it remains to be seen.
Yeah. I do understand because since COVID, so we cannot do much, right? But however, I do know like some of the interesting program that student exchange officer have organized, like the virtual one, right? It sounds interesting, even though we cannot travel, but then we can, at least we can like just see virtually. I think that's okay lah, right? So
it gives them a slight perspective of what to expect and also what to prepare for during their student exchange later on if they decide to join. So mostly it's just preparation and also encouragement. Yeah.
That sounds very interesting also. So next question would be for Ning Feng, our public health officer. So how do you manage conducting everything virtually? Because you are raising campaigns and stuff, but also now switching to virtual. So how do you manage that?
All right. So maybe if I understand the question correctly, it is about how do I conduct all the campaigns virtually, right?
Yeah.
So you will need to have different ideas and also the activities for the campaigns because to make the MyPSA members to catch their attention. So we will need to have all kinds of different ideas and fun activities. Yeah, it is fun enough to attract all the MyPSA members. That is what important. So besides spreading knowledge, so we need to consider the fun also in the element. So if you would like to speak frankly, you need to like take part in different campaigns or different projects, so you can like widen your horizons. You know what to do in your next campaign. Yeah. Also, what else? The campaign. I mean, what else of the activities that you can include in your next event like that? Yeah.
So basically, if let's say like if I want to join the campaigns, I want to join to organize campaigns. What can I learn actually? Because everything is online, right? So from this online event, actually, what can I learn by doing online campaign, not the real one? Like, can people actually really raise the awareness by just reading it? You know what I mean?
So yeah, I know. I understand your question. Let's like we build up a scenario. I mean, a normal student wouldn't just like, you know, go and take part in random campaigns that he or she would know, right? So by using MyPSA as a platform, like we let them to know which platform is has a credit to, you know, is creditable for them to join. And then also, yeah, actually, you can, by using MyPSA as a platform, I mean, this public health officer, you do different things from the others. That's what makes things interesting. So let's say others, they are doing normal, like, let's say, you can improvise the campaigns and like make your own activities. Yeah, so you can according to different
ideas.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. So we have interesting answers from our PHO. So we move on to the next question. Maybe this one we go to Ingmin, our student exchange officer. So we take turns. Okay. Around how many international events you will need to attend during your tenure? So in your tenure, and also also depends on the COVID situation. So around how many international events that you will need to attend during your tenure? And for example, like 5 per month, and how do you overcome the time zone difference as being a student exchange officer?
Okay, thank you for the question. So there's 2 questions. I'll answer the first one first, which is how many international events I attend. This is, I can't actually give an estimate because it also depends on, it depends on the country and it depends on their semester. So mostly all these international events would come, it depends on who's organizing. So for example, the most recent one I attended was General Assembly by IPSF, Regional Assembly by April, and also World Congress and EPPS. So those 4 were in the past 2 months. But other than that, I've also attended a lot of other virtual sets by other SEOs. So it would be quite difficult to give an accurate estimate. It also depends on the month, so I can't really say much. But yeah, there's a continuous stream of events that you can join every month. Lots of international exposure. And also how I overcome the time difference. This is a good question because as the SEO, I have to attend meetings sometimes at really odd hours. The most recent one was 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. How I overcome the time difference? I would say you have to familiarize yourself with the different time zones. So Malaysia, for example, is in GMT +8. Most of Europe is in GMT +2. So you have to be able to convert. If you can't, it's okay. There's a lot of apps to convert. And you can also just put it into your work clock on your phone. Usually if it's midnight or really late meetings, I just stay up because I know I can't sleep and wake up again. Yeah, that's just impossible for me. So I just stay up the whole night. So yeah, the time zone difference might be a bit difficult initially, but I think you sort of get used to it after a while. So it's not really a huge problem.
It's not a really huge problem for anyone who's interested to apply SEO position. So as what
It
we
does take some
our
sacrifice. You can't really sleep much. Yeah, it takes some sacrifice. You need to sacrifice the sleep.
but you enjoy doing it, right? Because
It's
yeah,
quite
although
fulfilling. It's quite
I
fulfilling.
okay, so we move on to next question for Ningfang. So how do you manage your workload as public health officer while handling all sorts of public health campaigns at the same time? So you have, workload as PHO, but at the same time you need to you need to supervise all these campaigns, all these awareness. So how do you manage all this workload actually?
All right. So first of all, our subcommittees, I mean my subcommittees are very helpful. So yeah, they actually help to lighten my burden, a big part of my burden. So yeah, the other parts will be actually priority, as mentioned in the previous live session, is very important quality, because yeah, you have to list down which are the events or which are the tasks that has a tight due date, and you have to catch up with that lah. Make sure not to overdue or something lah. So yeah, the next thing is to also take notes. You have to take notes of all the tasks in details, so you know what to do and what are the preparations that you have to you have to start thinking now. So
basically, you need to prioritize the first one. What's the due date first, and then you need to prioritize that one so that you can manage all of them. Is it?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Actually, I agree with Ningfong. I think in every job scope, in every offices, we need to know how to prioritize things so that we don't burn out, at the end of the day. So it's very important to take care of mental health and stuff. So yeah, we move on to next question. And before that, I would like to say that if you have any question, you have any doubts for our viewers, you can just drop your question in the chat box so that our expo can answer it for you. Okay, so next we move on to Amy. So for those who interested to apply your position, actually I want to ask both actually. We go first with Amy. So for those who interested to apply your position, what should they do actually? What should they do in order for them to apply? Or what are the skills that they need in order them to be chosen to be in your position right now?
Thank you for the question, Nisa. So first of all, I think in terms of what they need to do would be to familiarize themselves with both APRO and IPSF, since mostly SEO has a lot of contact with both these organizations. So it's quite important to understand what they're doing and how they're doing it. And also for the skills that they need, I would say they really need to be punctual. This concerns just time management in general, because one thing is the time zones, and also because there are a lot of deadlines that you have to keep up with. So it's quite important that you don't miss any deadlines, especially some that are really important ones, like for grants and stuff. And also I would say they need to have an adequate command of English. It's not really a huge factor to consider, but it really does help if you have good English, since most of the communications you will be doing will be, of course, in English on an international level. And also, I would say you need to be able to communicate with a huge team. So for not just your subcommittees, but also foreign SEOs. And also you need to have a sense of responsibility. So that's just pretty much generally what skills you need to have.
Okay, so for those who want to apply, please take note on that because that's very important. Also, okay, for those who wanted to apply SEO, as Imin said, you need to, at least know what is IPSF, right? So just find out now. The basic is very important. If not, you will be blank after you apply the position. Okay, what about Ningfeng? What are the advice for those who want to apply for a position?
So if you are interested to apply for a public health officer, what you can prepare now, you can start to equip yourself with adequate knowledge about the public health topic or concerns. So especially those that are recent and creditable lah. And next, maybe it is also important to like get used to familiarize yourself to all those like NGOs that are related to public health. Let's say smoking cessation or like any anti-drug abuse. There are many NGOs that are available in Malaysia, and you can start to familiarize yourself with all these kind of organizations. So about the skills, I would like to say you need to be creative, because you will have to encounter different scenarios, and you will have to do a lot of planning and event management. So event management and planning skills are required lah. And next would be documentation skills. It sounds a lot, but public health officer covers a wide area of work, so you have to equip yourself with this kind of skills. And that I would like to cover with all these.
Okay, so that's the requirements for you in order to apply PHO. So take note also on that one. Okay, last question before we end this session. Just last question. So any words for the nominees or those who might interested in taking a position? Maybe just a general one. It's nothing to do with like skills. Just motivation. What do you want to say for those who want to apply? MyPSA ExCos for the next 10 years. We start with Ninghu.
All right. So what I would like to say is, as a PHO, you literally make MyPSA a more colorful and cheerful place. So don't be afraid of the changes. If you are the kind of person who like to make changes, who are willing to learn and who are persistent, then you are suitable for this job. So go ahead and try.
Okay, so your application will make MyPSA become colorful. So we are so welcome for your application. So next we have Ingmin. Any words from you?
Well, in terms of advice, I would say, of course, do not be afraid to take any challenges, especially because SEO, it has quite a lot of international exposure. So it's a really, really good opportunity for you to grow, for not only personally, but also professionally. So if you have the willingness to learn, the willingness to try new things, then SEO is really a fulfilling office for you. I believe that it really helped me grow. So I think, if you have the willingness to learn and to gain new experiences, just apply.
So that's the interesting advice from our student exchange officer and our public health officer. I saw a comment saying that he didn't catch up about what are the requirements for maybe our ExCos. Maybe you can watch this live again later, because this live will be posted in our Instagram post. And also there's one question. Are first year student eligible to join MyPSA subcoms? So any one of you can answer this one. I don't want to answer. We give maybe Ningpo. For you?
Yes. I think first year you are ready. As a first year, you are ready to apply for subcoms, right? For the subcom position, yes, because learning anything from your first year would be beneficial, since your academy, there will be less workloads and stuff in your first year compared to the coming years. So I think for me it would be good to start earlier.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ingmin, do you have anything to
add on to that? Yeah. So for first year students who are interested in applying, more than welcome to apply as subcom for any office that you're interested in. Because once you apply for subcom, it could be really helpful if you plan to apply for ExCos in your second year. So that's a huge plus point. So if you're thinking of career advancement, you can apply as subcom first year and also ExCos second year. So that's what I did. Yeah. And also being a subcom helps you to really familiarize yourself with the office in general.
Yeah, I totally agree with Yingming and Nifel, because year one student, you don't have as you are not as busy as year two and year three, so you are very, very welcome to join part of our family. So any question before we end our live session? I really happy when I saw the comment saying that they are excited to join part of MyPSA. So see you later. We are so welcome to wait for your applications. So bye everyone. Bye. Thank you for joining us tonight. So
Bye-bye.
we will continue this live at 9:40 p.m. Don't forget to join back. We will have our publication officer and multimedia officer to answer all of your doubts. Okay? Bye-bye. Hello everyone. Hello Ziqin. We wait for more viewers to join first. Hello, Isha. Okay, we wait for our MyPSA ExCo to join. Hello, Arif. Okay. In the meanwhile, I would like to just introduce myself. It's me again, your moderator for tonight's live. Okay, so we have our ExCo here. Hello, Jess. Hello, Lucas. Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm okay. I just finished my exams today.
Okay, we wait for Atika first. Atika,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Hmm.
I don't see any invitation from her yet, but let's talk. Have you eat your dinner?
I did, yeah, just now.
Okay, cool. So just maybe we just start. So today, now we're having live session with our publication officer, and later on, our multimedia officer will join us in this live. Okay, maybe in the meantime, we'll start first with Lucas, our publication officer. So can you briefly introduce yourself and a little bit about your office?
Okay, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Lucas, and I'm the publication officer for my PSA this tenure. So, as the publication officer, what you are basically in charge of is the publication materials, such as the newsletter, the MyPSA TV production, as well as any miscellaneous productions of posters, materials, any sort of official, like the what's that? The organization chart, or those kind of official publications that we have to do. And of course, you are also in charge of being the person helping the other ExCos if they need in terms of designs, in terms of videos. So yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, so that's just a brief introduction of what publication officer do. So hi Atika, our multimedia officer is joining us now. So before that, I would like to remind if any of you have any question regarding the job scope or anything related with publication officer or multimedia officer, you can just drop your question in the chat box so that we can answer and clear out your doubts. Okay, move on. Just now we start with Lucas with the introduction of the office. Now we move on to Atika. So can you briefly introduce introduce yourself and a little bit about your office so that our viewers know?
Okay, thank you, Hi, this is Lucas. Welcome to our viewers. Okay, my name is Nur Atika, multimedia officer. To put it briefly, I would say that multimedia officer are the ones in charge for MyPSA's social media account. So our account
Sorry,
is a lot
Atika. Can you raise your voice because we couldn't hear you clearly?
Right, okay, sorry again. Is it still not audible?
Yeah.
Or is it
It's still a bit soft, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. In order for our viewers to able to listen, clearly, we would like our exco to wear earphone at least. So yeah, thank you for joining us, tonight's live. Okay, Atika.
Okay, let me try again. Okay, how about now? Is it clear?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. Alright, so this is me, Atika, the career multimedia officer. So to briefly summarize the job scope of multimedia officer, basically we are in charge of all these social media platforms that MyPSA have, that include our Instagram, Facebook page, Facebook group, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So I will take this opportunity. So in case that you want to keep updated with our progress or what we've been up to this day, please follow and like us. And also, this position manage MyPSA website. It is mypsa/official.com. You can just Google it. It should be the first link that you saw. You see, and also, this position is the brain, the one that handle the branding strategy, how we present MyPSA online. That's it.
Okay, so basically publication officer is dealing with newsletter and the designing stuff, right? And the multimedia officer is related with the media social. Am I right? Okay, so we move on to our first question. Maybe we start with Lucas, our publication officer. Okay, is there any editing experience required for this position, for publication officer position, like Adobe, maybe Filmora or Sony Vegas?
I would say it is not required, but it's very, very helpful because you are in a sense you are also the manager for your subcommittees, because you're the one who's directing your subcommittees in helping with you with your productions, with your publications and all that. But it really does help to have some sort of prior experience in making videos, in making designs, because it really does help with the flow and the structure of how you're gonna plan your productions and publications in that way.
Okay, so basically for you, what do you I'm not mean expert, but then what Adobe or Filmora that you know actually for you right now?
From me, I use Adobe Premiere Pro for my video editing needs, and if I need to add in special effects, I use Adobe After Effects. On the side of publications, I use Photoshop for basic posters, but if for designing like logos and things that require resizing from many different platforms, I use Illustrator.
Okay, so basically those who pro in editing application would have the advantage in this position, right? Okay, we move on to Atika. So for your question is, as a multimedia officer, how do you manage your time and workload as MyPSA social media to make sure it is active?
Okay, that question actually brings back memory during my final, which is in June, because during June is one of the most hectic month in MyPSA, because we have a lot of things going on during that month. In the same time, I was sitting for my final, but although it sounds like hectic, but it's still manageable. I say that the key here is the communication. You need to communicate well with your team, with the ExCos, also with your sub-community. You need to tell them beforehand that you might not be available during a certain time, so that both of us and everyone can adjust it, so that they are aware the status of their post. Is it on the pending? It has been proofread and such thing. And second is, I owe this to my subcom, because it is impossible for me to work all of it on my own. So having them is very helpful. So they help me a lot in lifting off the responsibility.
I see. Okay, so anyway, subcom and the ExCo need to work together in order for the media social to be active.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So next question, we will move on to our publication officer. Could you publish something regarding pharmacies in the cosmeceutical field? I bet many of us have this question because, maybe cosmeceuticals also one of the, maybe related with pharmacy. So could you publish anything related with that?
I don't think it's a problem to publish because yes, cosmeceuticals is part of pharmaceuticals as an extension of what we are able to do in our field. So if you say it could, then yeah, we could publish something regarding that. But of course,
Okay.
we do take suggestions or input for that. So if you want that to be something, maybe you could bring it up for the next tenure.
I see. Okay, so you can bring it up for next tenure. Okay, take note on that one. Okay, next question would be for both of you, but we will start with Atika first, our multimedia officer. What is the most challenging part for you throughout this tenure? Like busiest moment?
For me, I can divide this tenure into three phases, like the beginning, the middle, and also the end. So currently we are at the end, but I'll start off with the beginning. I was struggling with trying to adapt as quickly as possible because if I'm not mistaken, as soon as I'm being elected, I was given task for EGM. So to the anyone who are in pursuit for this position, just be prepared for yourself that you need to adapt as soon as possible. But it's not something heavy task. It's just something you need to have a grasp of it so that you can start working on the other work. Also, for the middle part, the most challenging is I think to be consistent with your work. Also, because you at that time you have your academy and everything, so at that time you just try to balance it and try to get work done. And here we are at the end of the tenure. I'll say we are currently busy with AGM. There's a lot of preparation. And also, for in the beginning, you still not have any subcom, so that gives you extra work to do on your own.
I totally.
You can do it. You will manage. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at the beginning of tenure, all of us don't have any subcoms to help, so everything is by our own. So it's quite struggle at first, but I bet every one of us can make it throughout the tenure. So next, Lucas, how about you? So what are the most challenging part throughout this tenure?
The most challenging part, I would say it is the burnout. Let me explain. Like initially, you start off like really motivated, really wanting to do things that you plan out to do in your manifesto, in what you were set out to do. I learned that if you do not pace yourself from the start, you tend to feel like it's more work than it's fun. Because for me, designing and making videos is part of a hobby, passion. So when you constantly go and try to make it perfect, try to make it really, really like presentable in my sense, because I'm quite the perfectionist in that regard. So if you do not pace yourself, if you do not give yourself space or any space for error, then you will face burnout. So that is my biggest challenge, trying to pace myself throughout the tenure itself. But here we are, almost to the end.
Right. Can you make it at the end?
Yeah, we're here.
I hope yes. Because mental health is really, really important, especially, COVID-19 pandemic right now. So everything needs to be virtual. We need to like keep up with everything virtually. So I hope everyone is doing well. And then, challenging part, I hope everyone can overcome it. And I think this we are almost come to the end of the session. But before that, I have a last question for both of you. It's not last, but then a few more questions. Maybe we will start with Lucas first. Okay, what is the largest challenge that you face during production of video or newsletter for MyPSA? Like, is that very hard? As you said, you are a perfectionist. So, what are the challenges in terms of Like, for me, I'm also a perfectionist. Maybe out there's a lot of people also like us. What are the advice and what are the biggest challenge that you face when
So the
editing?
biggest challenge for like the videos and newsletter, right? Yeah.
Yep,
So
videos and newsletter.
okay. So for this year, for myself, the goal is to promote MyPSA because of its 15-year anniversary. So we were trying to find content to be placed in the newsletter and the production of videos itself, and that presents some sort of challenge because we do not have physical events, we don't have physical meetings with any people, so it becomes really hard to make interesting content available. So what I would advise is, even during this time, make use of the tools available to you. Like we have seminars, we have Zoom meetings, everything that's online. But if you can try to make it more interactive, like let's say there's an interview that you could do with your the one that you're trying to interview. It's good to try to be active, interactive with your interview instead of a plain Q&A session. So think of creative ways to make interesting content. That's my advice.
Actually, there's one question from myself. As you said, we are not, organizing physical events and everything, from Zoom, and we only have the proof for the participant who joining by, print screen the everything. So how do you edit it into the newsletter actually? Because it's very hard and it's not nice, right? Because it's not like a picture of everyone. So actually, how do you do it? How do you make it interesting to read, to see, to go through and stuff?
I would say that poses quite a challenge as well, because other than the print screen, like you said, there's really not much of anything else we could put. But there are the materials used for the event itself, like the posters. You can add in what they have done during the presentations, their the speakers, their presentation screenshots, all those. So those are some of the things that you could put into making something more interesting.
Great. I bet our ExCo have done a lot of work to make sure all of the viewers, all the members to be able to read it interestingly, excitingly, right? So next we will have our multimedia officer to answer our question. So how do you manage MyPSA social media, especially when too much posting is being requested on that particular day?
Right. Okay. For context, here in MyPSA, we have limit the maximum amount of posts that we can do in a day. So sometimes there is certain day that there is a lot of requests for 5 or 6. There's a lot. So to avoid spamming and everything, we need to communicate back. Like I mentioned before, you need to talk out with the ExCo, and just you need to prioritize which one is much more important. There's a lot of posts, we have event promotions and such things. So as an ExCo, you need to know which one that you should post first and which one that you can post it later on. So this kind of thing is something that you need to decide. But if I'm having hard time to decide it, I have our VPII to advise me how we can do this. So basically, you need to prioritize it and to talk with the other school if we can reschedule it or modify the schedule however it fits us.
Okay, great. So everything needs to be scheduled in order to be organized and, not to posting too much, because everyone cannot see it if we post too much in one day, right? Okay, before we end the session, this is really the last question for both of you. Maybe we'll start with Atika first. So any words for the nominees or the those that interested in applying your position as a multimedia officer? What are the advice? What are the motivational, support that you want to give to them?
Okay. you can see this position as something that you do every day because it involves social media account, and I believe that everyone who are viewing right now, you have a social media account. But the difference is I use it for the association, for the branding awareness for this SRT, something like that. So try to, if you're interested with the position, you can try to Google and learn on your own, equip yourself with some knowledge how you can utilize these social media accounts. We have a lot, so different social media have different algorithm setting and everything. Try to make the best use of it, and also don't be so hard on yourself. Like, don't put standard like I need to be this good to apply for this position. Because throughout this tenure, you're going to learn a lot. There is a lot of things that you're going to pick up and improve yourself. So just give it a go.
Yeah, a very great, advice from our multimedia officer. Just go for it, and don't be shy to apply because throughout the tenure you will learn a lot and you will experience a lot of things, especially the hard part of the tenure. Okay. What about Lucas? What are your advice for those who are interested, for our nominees, to apply for your position as publication officer?
Well, for me, I basically echo what Atika said. It's not really about what you can do, but what you are willing to do. Because being in this position is not really about, not really about presenting yourself as like a whiz or something that as someone that is really good at what you're doing. But if you have the passion for design, you have the passion for video editing and making, then that's really enough for being the publication officer. Because for me, I also learned quite a few things along the way, and I would say the experience itself is really worth it, and you cannot really get the experience from anywhere else. So I would implore everyone to try your hand at this position and any of the ExCo positions, actually, because MyPSA itself is really a place to grow. Yeah, I think everyone has grown quite a lot in this organization.
I agree with Lucas and also Atika. Actually, I bet all of us like still a newbie when we apply this position, but we really learn a lot of things throughout this tenure. And the point is that if you're willing to learn, you can apply any of the position that you're interested in. But you will need at least the basic skills, like maybe for a publication you will need to have editing skills. Maybe for multimedia you will need to have handphones every day. Really? Okay, so that's all for our session tonight. So the next 2 days we will have another IG live session. So stay tuned for maybe the last day for any of you would like to ask any question to our MyPSA ExCo. So last, thank you for joining today's live, and thank you from me, Nisa, the MyPSA Secretary 2, our Multimedia Officer Atika, and our Publication Officer Lucas. Thank you, and see you in the next 2 days. Bye.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining the live today. Just give me a minute, we're waiting for our ExCos to join. Hi Eugene.
Hi Ingmin.
Hello. All right. Hi Laura. And we're waiting for Yukshan.
Yeah.
There she is.
Is Laura buffering?
Yes, yeah, I thought it was
Okay.
only my internet. Okay. All right. Laura, you're buffering.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay.
Okay, all good, all good. Hi. All right. Okay, so let's start. Hi everyone. I hope you're all as excited for this session's IG Live. So today with me, we have our Education Officer, Eugene, our Project Officer, Laura, and also our Professional Development Officer, Yukshan. So before we start anything else, let's start off by introducing a bit about yourself and also your job scope. You can start maybe with Laura.
All right, so hi everyone. I'm Laura and I'm MyPSA Project Officer 2020-2021. And basically the portfolio of Project Office is to supervise two major national events under MyPSA, which is MPSC and No Gap. And other than that, PEO also have to handling MyPSA award, like MyPSA Best Student Award, MyPSA Best Society Award, and also Best OC Award. And PEO is also can organize some of socialized events with collaboration with other office or with collaboration with other associations. Basically, that's a rough portfolio under PEO.
All right, thank you, Laura. Now let's move to Eugene.
All right, thanks, Ingmin. So I'm currently the education officer. So under the education officer's portfolio, you have to supervise one national event, which is the National Pharmacy Research Competition, MPRC. And we have a staple for EDO as well, which is the Clinical Practice Guideline Infographics and Quiz, where we will take the CPG guideline from KKM, the updated ones, which updates every 5 years. So we can only take the ones that is updated latest 5 years ago. And then this year I've done 2 CPG, which are Clinical Practice Guideline on Management of Type 2 Diabetes mellitus, and also CPG on Management of Asthma in Adults. And then after that, we have, of course, educational visits, but due to this year's pandemic, we cannot organize educational visits. But if the pandemic is over, so EDO, it's best for EDO to organize educational visits. And then after that, education officer will, of course, post content online, like infographics, videos, and IG stories that contains educational stuff related to pharmacy. And of course, we have a lot of events and projects like webinars, seminars, and workshops and competitions. So they can be synchronous or asynchronous. So there's a lot of variety for EDO, but these are some of the things that EDO can organize. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Eugene. And lastly, let's move on to Yukshan.
Hello everyone, my name is Yuksan and I'm the Professional Development Officer 2020-2021. So for the Professional Development Office, similar as the 2 other ExCos. So in my office, I have to monitor the 2 national events, which are the National Pharmacy Competitions and also the National Pharmacy Debate Competitions. And for the National Pharmacy Competitions can be divided into 3 challenges, which is the Piala Aisyah compounding, and also like the pharmacy quiz, and also the clinical pharmacy quiz challenge. So total there are 3 challenges under the National Pharmacy Competitions. So, and there are others ExCos events as well. For example, like the industries skill events, but for my tenures, I didn't implement it, but still got others. For example, like patients counseling skill events, and also like the clinical skill events. So for my office, is more towards like to establish the knowledge and also to organize more workshops and competitions to enhance the knowledge of the pharmacy students. So basically, these are the summary of my profile for the task for my office.
All right, so thank you, everyone. Seems like all of these officers are very, very busy with lots of big projects. So, which leads to my first question. So, how have you faced your challenges when preparing for an event? What are those challenges and how do you overcome it? So, let's start with Laura again. Laura, you want to go?
I'm lagging just now. Sorry for the question.
Okay, let me repeat. So all these are really busy officers. I'm pretty sure you face a lot of challenges. So what are some of the challenges that you face and how did you overcome these challenges?
Oh, I see. Thanks for the question, Amy. So I think for every event, there must be a challenge. I think the most common challenge is the sudden change of the things, so we need the immediate actions taken on the spot, and then that require the communication of between the committee and also the work ethic of a committee to together achieve the goal of our event and all. So I think and also the other challenge that I face is the participation rate, because of as you guys can see, there's a lot of event ongoing, not only for my office and also other office. So somehow participant rate for one event will not as good as the other one. So that's also one of the challenge that we are facing.
Okay, lots of challenges for every event that you organize. What about Eugene?
Yeah, I have to agree with Laura on that we have a lot of last minute hiccups that may jeopardize our event. So we have to be on our on our toes, so that we sort of tackle the issue immediately and do not affect your event. For example, there might be issues coming up like the night before the event, and you have to change some of the things tentatively. Sometimes the speakers request to add on a little bit stuff, so we need to be quick and make a decision fast so that we do not drag it until the next day, which we may not be able to solve as well. And also participation rate, because this year we have a lot of events this year, so participation rate, it's hard to get a lot of participants for different events because some of the events are very close to one another, so the participants might find it difficult to join all of it, so they're sort of selective, so some of the events might suffer in terms of participation rate. And also, as an officer, I think what I face as well is that some events are very close together, so I have to arrange in a way that it does not clash with my exam timetable and also my academics, but sometimes it does come very near, so it's sort of like managing your academics and focus on events at certain times, but once your event is done, you allocate time for your own academics as well. Yeah, I think this balance between academics and events is one of the biggest challenge I faced.
All right. So of course, everything requires a balance, especially between MyPSA and studies. It can be quite difficult sometimes. Lastly, let's move on to Yukshan. What are some of the challenges that you face?
To me, I think all of it is a challenge because I am quite a beginner when it comes to like co-curriculum activities. So I really understand how Eugene like mentions the difficulties, right? So need to like balance between the academic and also like the extra co-curriculums. And for me, it's like I think my main challenge is like how I should plan my times and also like how should I plan the events to be more smooth, because the most of the challenges of my office is like most of the events it is mainly like organized at for first times, for example like patients counseling skill events. So for me it's like I'm glad that I receive a lot of the suggestions from other ExCos like Eugene's and also Laura and also my supervising officer as well. So I'm really appreciate the suggestions that they give to me. And for me it's like it's not really easy because we need to create some things from nothing, so this really needs a lot of plannings and it needs a lot of time. And for the planning, I think it is the most hardest part for me because if you didn't plan your things well, then it doesn't come your events won't be successful. So I think this is the main challenges that I face when it comes to the MyPSA activities in my office.
Okay, thank you, Yukshan. So to summarize everything, basically you will definitely face a lot of challenges while you're in office, but you need a balance between both your academics as well as your extra MyPSA work, and you also need to be really flexible and adaptable when you have all these challenges. All right, which brings me to the next question. Is there anything you'd like to improve or any new initiatives you would like to start for your portfolio next tenure? This time maybe we can start with Yukshan first.
Means the improvements, right? It means the improvement
Any
in my office.
improvements, anything you'd like to, you would hope to see in the next tenure? Any initiatives, any improvements?
For me, it's like as the outgoing ExCos. So very soon, I am going to be the outgoing ExCos. So I think I need to do all the handover tasks in a very detailed manner to let my successor knows what is the goal of my like my office. They need to have a clear overview of it. So when I handle the task, right, so I need to list like what kind of the events that I'm going to organize. And for examples, like what are the difficulties? So for my events, I think because it's mostly like these tenures and like at these tenures, so most of the events that are organized like online. So for me, I think I have more experiences in the online events, so I can add all of these online events like how I should organize it and in the guidelines. So and also like SOP to review the SOP of it because SOP of it is like will be changed from time to times, and it also need to be supervised by VP1s and also like the president as well. So I think all of this needs to be reviewed by the supervising officers and also based on the experience and need to modify the guideline as well. So I think this is the main improvement, and I will also advise my successors like need to have a very detailed like plans their times, like how should they like mentions about the dates, when are they going to open the registrations, like all of the stuff lah. So for events, we must know that it will be divided into three phases, like 3 events, and when the events is conducting and also after the events what you should do. So I will be mentioning like what they should be doing. So I think that's all for my part.
All right, thank you, Yukshan. Now let's move on to Laura. What are some of the improvements or initiatives you'd like to see in the next tenure?
Okay, so for project office, actually I would say that project office, we cover a wide range of the project that we actually can initiate. Like for this tenure, I initiate a video competition and also like a forum and social gathering between the association. So I think I will left this lot creativity that's by my successor, whether my successor, they can have their own creativity that's what kind of the event they think is beneficial and can bond our pharmacy students around Malaysia to bond together or something like that. But definitely I would say I expect more socialized event, either is internally or externally that can benefit member, because I heard some of our feedback from our member that they wish to have more socialized event other than just no gap. So I think I will pass this comment to my successor, and I wish that this comment is heard and can do some improvement on that. So about the improvement of the event, I would say that for my event, I think it's all going okay. It's just a participation rate problem. Maybe more promote and more understanding on what's the end of the event can be spread out more, so can attract more member to be attracted to the event and to participate eventually. So that's all.
All right, thank you for the really insightful points, Laura. I'm pretty sure that would really help your successor. Moving on, Eugene, what are the improvements and initiatives that you'd like to implement next tenure?
It's very hard to say. I think I've done quite a lot of stuff this tenure. So I've covered basically a lot of the staples, and also I kind of organized quite a lot of competitions, workshops, webinars. So in terms of increasing the number of events, I think that should not be a big problem. I think the number right now is already very high. So what I think it can improve is on the events is like what Laura said, the participation rate, and also the quality of the event in general. For example, some of these competitions, because we are doing it in a smaller scale, so what we can do is actually increase the scale by collaborating with other ExCos or other partners, so that we can sort of increase the target participants. Target audience, so more participants can join, and also increasing the budget allocation for the prizes to attract more participants to join our event. Yeah.
Okay, so future successes, I hope you're taking notes. These are really, really good initiatives that I think would really help you in your next tenure. All right, so since we're running out of time, I have one last question for all of you. Can you share a few important criteria to be a good officer for your respective office? This time, let's start with Eugene.
Oh, okay. The criteria of a good EDO. I don't think there is what do you call that I don't know how to phrase it, but to be someone that holds quite a busy and prestigious profile in MyPSA, we need to, of course, have commitment. So we must commit fully to our work and not pay full attention to it, because every detail matters, and all these details are what makes it so crucial for the event, whether the event make it or not. So I think commitment is a very huge part of being an officer in general, not just my office, but in any position you take in any organization. And then up next is time management. Like I said, you need to balance between your work and your academics. So do not, pay too much attention in one thing that you flop in another thing, because at the end of the day, we are here to actually not choosing one over the other. We are here to learn at the same time, not not neglecting our studies. So time management to balance between your work and study. I think commitment. I think that's. Oh, and also a team player. As an officer, you will work with your subcoms, your colleagues, your ExCos, and people in higher up. So if you're a team player, you can actually you sort of reduces the we'll call that conflicts that might happen if you are too focused on yourself, because at the end it's an organization that runs with with the help of a lot of people. So it's not just you in MyPSA, there's still a lot of people contributing to MyPSA success. Yeah, that's from me. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Next we have Laura. Laura, what are some of the criteria to be a good project officer?
All right, so I have to say that I definitely agree with the point that Eugene mentioned just now. So to add on, I think for me, other than having the work ethic, the commitment, the time management, I think the understanding towards among the committee is very important as well, because we are pharmacy students after all. No matter you are subcom committee president or what, we all are pharmacy students. We have our own academy, we have all our other things to busy with. So understanding is very important, that in some of a period, if some of a person that cannot be commit to that period, then the other group, the committee can help out with each other. So like the team player as mentioned. But also I would say that event is very unpredictable, especially for three of our office is event-based office. You have to very calm when there is a situation happen, because definitely there will be an issue. There's no perfect 100% smooth event. So you have to be very calm and come up with a solution immediately or like within a short period, and then to solve it. So the problem solving skill is very important. We cannot just rely on other committee like our supervisor or our subcommittee, like what should I do and anything, because as in this position, we are supposed to give a instructive or suggestive the appropriate solution for that situation. Yeah, so I think the knowledge and the experience of the event organizing, planning, directing is very important for three of our office, and so that will very helpful when you are be in our office position. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Laura. Lastly, we'll move to Yukshan.
For me, I think I also agree with the others to ExCos. For example, like mentioning need to be very, very important for the teamwork, because teamwork mainly about communications. Like communications is really play a very important role in the event based. So in our office, So I think that the most important criteria is like the communication skills and also like leadership skills and problem solving skills. And I wouldn't say that I'm really good in that, and I am still learning with that. And for the main point, I really want to point out is that not to be a perfectionist, because when you do something very perfect, in a very perfect manner, then you will neglect other details. So you need to, but you still need to pay certain like sufficient attention to the details as well, but not to be a perfectionist, because I think need to have sufficient times for a lot of the aspect in our life, right? So not only my PSA, so I think that need to handle both, like need to how to say, like need to find a balance between all of it. And also I think that's it for my office, my advice for it.
Okay, so for anyone who's interested to apply for any of these positions, I hope you have taken note of some of the criteria that you will need, that maybe even will really help you during your next tenure. Unfortunately, this is all we have time for today. I hope all of you enjoyed this session. But if you have any questions, feel free to contact our officers. You can contact them on IG, or you can drop them an email, and they'll be happy to help you with any questions you would like. So if you have any interest in MyPSA, you feel free to apply and join us. So yeah, that's all we have time for today. Thank you for joining all of us, and see you next time. Bye. Oh, we have a second session starting in 2 minutes. Yeah. Stay tuned for the second session. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hi.
Hi.
I think my Wi-Fi is okay today.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. So far, so good. Hi, Nat.
Okay.
Alright, we'll wait for Chiao Wen.
Hi. Oh my god, what's wrong with my lighting?
And also, am I the only one who's looking at Nazira buffering?
Yeah, she's buffering the.
Yeah, a bit. I think Nazira a bit lag. Okay,
I
we'll
don't know
wait for
who's
Chiao Wen,
loading
yeah.
right now. Is it my internet problems or?
Yeah,
Yeah, yours. Yours does stuck.
Am I loading?
Yeah, your screen. But I can hear your voice. Oh, okay. Alright. Oh, I forgot about it. Okay, so Chiao will be joining using alright, YEP account.
Oh, okay, sure.
Alright. Promote YEP also, ma. Alright. Hi. Okay, Nazira is buffering. I think just the screen. Oh, okay, she left. So I think we'll start with Chiao Wen first. So right now here we have ST and Chiao Wen. So Chiao Wen is the entrepreneurship officer, ST is the advocacy officer, and Nazira, I think she'll be returning in a while. She is the networking officer for this tenure. So to start off, I'll ask the ExCos to introduce their office and their job scope. So I think we'll start with Chiao Wen.
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Chiao Wen, the current entrepreneurship officer, and yeah, about our job scope, I mainly focus on the sales of merchandise, which to gain income for my PSA, and also to organize other events which related to entrepreneurship. For example, our annual event, which is Young Entrepreneur Program, YEP, where it includes some workshops and then the pitching competition. Yeah, something like that.
All right. Then we'll move on to ST first, while we're waiting for Nazira to come back.
Okay, so hi everyone, I am ST, the outgoing and also the current advocacy officer. So for advocacy office, we are actually
responsible for all the welfare of pharmacy students, for especially those like graduating students. They are maybe like in their third year or fourth year. And also we have to organize a few events. The first will be the QEPP, qualifying examination to practice pharmacy, in both 2 sessions, in February and June. And one more thing is about our annual event, which is in this coming Sunday, our PGCF, Pharmacy Graduate Career Forum. It's like we invite a few speakers from different sectors, for example, like clinical, industrial, military, and also one more is community, 4 speakers, to share about their PRP experience to all our students to expose them more about their career choices. So that's all from me from advocacy office. I think Nat is coming back, right?
Yeah, Nats is coming back. Just give her a moment. All right, hi Nats.
Hi.
All right, so Nazira is the advocate officer. So Nats, I'll pass to you to introduce your office and your office job scope.
So hi, I'm Nur Nazira Zulkarnain for Unique at RCMP. So basically, my job scope is about networking, and what I have done so far is to network with the local society that we had, such as Malaysia, Majlis Belia Malaysia, MBSA, MMI, and that's so far what we did is more to collaborate more, to have more event, and also collaborate with other office, sir. Yes.
All right. Yeah, all right. Thank you, Nat. So now all the officers have already briefly introduced their job scope, so we'll get to the questions from the IG story that we posted before this. So the first question is for entrepreneurship officer. If I have minimal experience in entrepreneurship or business in general, am I still eligible for the role of EO?
Okay, it is totally a yes, because when I nominated myself last year for EO, I actually didn't have much experience as well on entrepreneurship as well as business. But I think everything is always there for you to learn. So you can always learn along the way throughout your tenure. So it is like how to say entrepreneurship office is, so far I know, it is the only office that with the so-called EO lineage, where all the previous EO are actually ready to help and ready to guide you along the way. So it's totally fine if you don't have experience, because like for example me myself, after 1 year I feel like, okay, I won't say I have no experience already, but before that it is like almost a 0 for me. So everything is fine. Yeah. As long as you want to try.
Yeah, so anyone who wants to experience it can try. If you have 0 experience, you can learn along the way, like Chawan said. All right, the next question is for Nazira and EO. So what are the important key points that need to take note to be a good NEO in branding MyPSA? So do you get my question?
Yes. So for me to be a good NEO, you have to have a good communication skill, because you need to deal with professionals, not only the local society for Unistat site. You also need to socialize with professionals, such as what I have done with other organizations like Majlis Belia, and then we meme, so on. So for me, if you have a good communication skill and good networking, it will be a good path for you to apply as NEO. Yes.
All right, thank you, Nazira. So next will be for ST. What is your opinion on continuing virtual career talk for all graduating pharmacy students?
So you mean like for a virtual talk only for graduating student, is it? Or you mean like to compare physical and virtual?
Yeah, what's your opinion on it? Then there's a follow-up question.
Okay.
Will a physical one bring better impact to the public?
Yeah, of course, I think that physical will be a greater impact, because this is a no choice due to the pandemic that everything, like even for classes, any like workshop, forum, that for me myself, as a customer office, we have talk show, workshop, we all converted it to online due to the pandemic. And but one thing good is that about virtual thing is that it can be happen anytime and anywhere. So even though you can't attend to our virtual one, you can still ask for recording for it. So everyone that you can just ask for the video recording and just watch it back. So I think it's still okay for virtual, but indeed, with physical one will be a greater impact with greater interaction with the speaker and the participants.
All right, thank you, SD. So the next question is applicable to all three office. So I'll ask the question first, then I'll go along with three of you. So what is the toughest part of your job scope? So I think we'll start with Shawan first.
I think for me the toughest one is about organizing YP, as I mentioned earlier. But it is because some miscommunication with the previous my predecessor, because I didn't get connected with all the previous EOs, the lineage I mentioned just now. That's why I need to like explore everything from the start. But it actually gave me even more experience. And also, if you are my successor, then I promise you won't lose the connection with all the previous CEOs. So you don't have to worry about it. Okay.
All right, thank you, Shawan. So next, Nazira, toughest part of your job scope.
I might say, being an NEO, there's no such a extremely job scope for you guys. But for me, throughout my tenure as an NEO, the hardest part that I need to face is looking for a sponsorship. I believe this one, all officers need to face this because I just done with my program with ProCans, with Majlis. Yes, it's hard to convince because we're doing a virtual programs and we hard to convince the sponsor to how this event could contribute back to their company. So that's far what we the networking office need to face. But luckily, due to our networking office, so what we did is we looking for a collaborator so on. So that how the networking office help to overcome the sponsorship problem by collaborating with others. So yes, so for me, it's looking for sponsorship.
All right, thank you, Nazira. So next, SD.
Okay, so advocacy office is very easy. You just invite speaker to have your workshop, attend it, and that's it. That's all. So easy. So just come to apply for advocacy office and believe me, I'll guide you all along the way. So no worry on this.
All right. So anyone who's interested in ADO, SD say it's not difficult and she'll guide you through it.
Yes, come on.
All right. Okay, the next question is also applicable for all three offices. So it's almost the same. So the biggest challenge that you face throughout the whole tenure. So it's sort of the same as the toughest part. So any major challenge other than the toughest part that you said just now? So we'll start back with Shawan.
My biggest challenge would be because I'm not really a person who love to socialize like that, like Nat. She loves to create like networking everything, right? So I'm kind of people, but to organize YEP, we need to deal with to invite speakers because in contrast with what SP mentioned, to invite one speaker and everything is settled, we actually need to invite various speakers to fit various topics on business. So we need to deal with each of them, and I find it very hard because I'm not really used to deal with those bosses like that. But yeah, I think it's really a great experience after I settled all of this. It's like you won't get this chance if you didn't join EO, right? So it's a great experience, and I believe it is useful even after I graduate.
All right. Thanks, Shawan. And next, Nazira.
As for me, as an NGO, we do have a lot of plans that we would like to collaborate, we would like to do a partnership, but due to this MCO, some of it can be happen, such as we did a collaboration with Harmony Mission, which is a volunteer program. So that we'll be sending out a MyPSA member to together with Harmony Mission members to have a volunteer event programs. But somehow it's only in the stage planning for now, because nowadays even the kids around today is 2020 so on. So we have to think of another option what we can do be doing this collaboration. So for me, this year is totally challenging because you always need to think for another alternative, how to make it work. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I have to agree. Just all our events are online because we cannot have physical events, So I think it's a very big challenge for all of us. So yeah, last but not least, ST.
Alright, so I think the mostly is about like time management and also how you according to things, because now we all COVID, right? Everything's online. So me myself, we are all here still students. So how you accommodate yourself, your time to your academic and also your job scope as an officer. So for me myself, one more thing is about the communication, that those messages they just spam in all the messages from the speaker, from the participants. So everything's about management. I think if you can do a good management using your time and your career and your academic, I think everything will be fine on that.
All right, thank you, ST. So before we end our session, I have a last question for all of you. So any words of wisdom for your nominees, or those that might be interested in taking up your position? So we'll start with Chewen again.
Okay. If you are interested in EO, or even if you are not interested in entrepreneurship, I would like to say that don't close the door for yourself. It is because, as I mentioned, I was not interested as well, but I chose to challenge myself. So there's a lot of things that I've gained throughout the way, and also this is really a great experience that you won't be learning in your from your lectures or in your university. So yeah, I think if you are looking for something different from what you are currently doing, then it is really a great choice for you.
All right, thank you, Chewen. So next, Nazira, any words of wisdom?
As for me, don't be afraid to go out from your comfort zone. For me, being an NEO is totally awesome. It's not only to gain more skill about organizing, about communication skill, about negotiating with all of the NGOs. It's about how this position could bring you for your future itself. So you might enduring this tenure, you might doing networking with other organization that you might not expect it you be building and networking with. But in the future, maybe who knows, this organization that you've been networking are totally help with your future making. Maybe someday if you are networking with GSK on some of the company, maybe it can help because you already have the networking, right? So maybe it can help you with your future making, maybe getting a job with them since they already know you. So don't be afraid, just apply to be NEO. Yeah, thank you.
Right, thank you, Nazira. So ST, your turn.
Okay, so for advocacy officer, because we are mainly dealing on this different kind of sector and speaker, right? So once you have some workshop done and you will know the speaker, and from the moment that you can just know more about their career. So with that, I think you can, even with like, you can get those like what Nat said just now about networking, you also can get some new information and new insight about the career, which is also good for everyone, especially as a pharmacy graduate. So I think it's very good. Come, ADO.
ST is looking for her successor. So anyone interested, if you want to know more, can PM all our officers here, and you can contact them through email. So the email for entrepreneurship officer is mypsa.eo@gmail.com. For networking officer is mypsa.neo@gmail.com. And finally, for advocacy officer is mypsa.adhoc@gmail.com. So I think that is the time we have, or we have 2 minutes to spare. But I think that's all the questions we have for today. And this concludes the live session with ExCos for MyPSA for this tenure. So for those who are interested, you can always PM all of our officers. We are all available and we are ready to reply and answer all your questions and doubt regarding the position you are interested in. All right, so thank you and good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.